If you clicked on this video, I'm going to assume you know about the term the strongest. But for those that don't know, the term the strongest is an archetype slash trope that is essentially when a story introduces a character that is established to be the strongest character in that world. Think of a character like Gojo Satoru from Jujutsu Kaisen, or a character like All Might from My Hero Academia, for example. They are the strongest characters in their world, and it's very well known that they are, and it's established very early on that they are the strongest and the peak of their universe. And the reason why I want to talk about it today is because I find the trope so fascinating to see and look at, but so many writers are able to twist it and turn it into a unique trope almost every time I see it, at least the popular examples. Because I just think it's impressive that such a simple concept of being the strongest in your world is so malleable and so interesting, and how so many people can twist it and use it in unique and creative ways. Let's look at Gojo Satoru, for example, as he's probably the most famous and most popular version of the strongest in the modern day and age. See, Gojo's whole identity in Jujutsu Kaisen is that he is the strongest. He's established very early on that he is the strongest person around. Every character acknowledges and even mentions that Gojo is the strongest around. Every concept and mention of Gojo is related to him, always gets a little mention that he is the strongest person around. Hell, when Gojo was born, the world quite literally changed. Gojo was destined to be the strongest, and he is. But this creates a conflict for Gojo's identity. Is Gojo a person? Do people even like Gojo as a person, or will they always view him as simply being the strongest guy around? And quite literally, you can sum up Gojo's whole major conflict in Jujutsu Kaisen with a simple quote that he gets asked in the Hidden Inventory arc. Are you Gojo Satoru because you are strong, or are you strong because you're Gojo Satoru? Which is asked by Geto at the end of that arc. And quite literally, that quote could be summed up as, are you who you are because you are strong, or are you strong because of who you are? Is Gojo who he is because he is strong, or is he strong because of who he is? This quite literally creates such a good conflict for Gojo's character, as this is why he acts the way he does. Gojo tries to connect with people and act friendly, but Gojo truly never can. He is above everyone else. It's even reflected in his ability Infinity, which quite literally makes him untouchable. No one can truly connect and understand Gojo because of who he is. It is lonely at being at the top of the world, because no one can truly understand what it's like. He is quite literally a god to these people. He is like a deity to these people. And some people just simply view him as a tool of Jujutsu society to maintain the rules of it. It's why the Hidden Inventory arc hits so differently, and why people will say it's the best arc in Jujutsu Kaisen, is because this is the only time we can see Gojo interact with people like a normal human being. You can see Gojo connect with others, and it's why the ending of that arc is so important and major for people, is because Gojo has become the strongest. He finally unlocks the unlock the full potential of Infinity. He truly becomes untouchable. He has become far more than a normal person. He has become the strongest one. He has become the honored one. Because throughout heaven and earth, he alone is the honored one. And that's how society will view him from now on. No longer as Gojo Satoru, the kid, the high schooler, but from now on as the strongest one. The honored one, if you will. And it's why Gojo Satoru is widely considered the best character in Jujutsu Kaisen. Because its arc hurts so much, and you see what has happened to Gojo and how lonely it is to become, as he's no longer considered a person, if you will. Another thing I like about the strongest slash trope slash archetype is the fact that it helps establish I'll call a power bar or a power ceiling. Essentially speaking, it establishes what the strongest people in this world are capable of doing. Like, let's look for example, in the first episode of My Hero Academia, All Might with a single punch in a weakened state was able to change the weather with a single punch. Keep in mind, All Might is injured and he was at the limit of his power during this small episode. And quite literally, with a single punch, was able to change the weather. This establishes very early on what our characters need to strive for, and if you're gonna be compared to All Might, you have to be able to do shit like this. It's what makes All Might an excellent character in the show, and the fact that his existence is so integral to society, as he is the symbol of peace. His simple existence reassures that people are safe and that everything's gonna be okay. And it's such a big deal is because All Might has to hide this secret for until it's revealed by the end of about season 3, I believe, of where All Might has to reveal to the world that he can no longer be that symbol anymore, and has to pass it on to the next generation, basically Midoriya. As All Might quite literally cannot be the hero he is, and it's why it's such a big deal when later on in the show, that symbol of peace has fallen. People have lost faith, and they can no longer rely on All Might, and they have to rely on other people. And also the fact that All Might's simple existence as a character and being the strongest established makes Endeavor's character work. But it's quite literally without All Might, Endeavor just doesn't work as a character. So that's cool, even though I think Endeavor is a really good, interesting character. And no, I'm not justifying anything he does. I'm not going to do that in this video. He is a terrible person, but he's trying to get redemption and trying to make up for what he's done, but not expecting to be forgiven. This is not that kind of video, so please do not spam the comment and be like, how dare you praise Endeavor? It's not fair. He is a terrible human being. I'm not justifying him, guys. Please, do not take this the wrong way. Oh, we can even look at a more niche, more funnier example, Saitama from One Punch Man, for example. As quite literally, Saitama can beat anyone in one punch. That's like his whole gimmick. He is so strong that he can defeat anyone with a single punch, and because of that, he can never experience a truly riveting or exciting fight. He can never experience the thrill ever again because he knows he can beat anyone in a single punch. He can get the job done with just one hit. And that's what makes Saitama so interesting to see, is because Saitama is depressed and bored of life. Because humanity is built on the fact that we struggle and have challenges. But a life without any of those is boring. Think of it like an athlete that is so good at the game that no one can keep up. Think of an athlete that can run so fast that no one can keep up with him. What is the point of competing if you know you're gonna win? What is the assignment that there's a chance you can lose? But Saitama is guaranteed to win. So what's the point? And it's why Saitama is somewhat of an interesting character when you look at him from a certain lens. And it's why when he finally meets someone that could take more than a single punch at the end of season 1, he gets so excited and happy because he can actually enjoy a fight and someone can actually take his hits. That is what makes Saitama so interesting to me, because it exposes the issues about being the top. A life without challenge is pointless. A life without any struggle or challenges is boring. It's what makes Saitama's arc so interesting to see, even though I don't think One Punch Man is like peak fiction. But I do like Saitama a lot because I find this kind of storytelling very interesting, at least from a character standpoint. Though I will not say that this trope is perfect, as it does have some issues with it. Such as the fact that most stories that use the concept of the strongest have to write out the strongest at some point. Because if the strongest person is around and he's so strong he can solve everyone's problems in 5 minutes, then the story is going to be over in 5 minutes. So the story has to find a way to get him out of the plot and kick him out. Like, think of a character like Superman, for example. Superman is so strong that he's faster than everyone, stronger than everyone, smarter than everyone. He can do almost everything in 5 minutes. So what do most stories that involve Superman do? They usually kick him out of the plot by either A, introduce kryptonite, or B, throw him into a dimension with no suns and has him become powerless and helpless in Red Sun or something. Which, by the way, did happen in the comic, and I think it's really cool, funny, because they basically just, like, kicked Superman out of a plot until the plot demanded he came back. But, you know, whatever. Or, like, how they did with Gojo, where essentially they have to seal Gojo away until the plot demands that he comes back, because Gojo is so strong and basically untouchable and invincible to the point where they have to kick him out of the plot, because the plot needs the progress, because our main characters become kind of pointless if Gojo can just solve everyone's problem. So he gets so locked into the prison realm until the plot demands that he escapes and gets out. Or think of a character like All Might, who has to lose his powers and stop being the strongest guy around. It's quite literally issue in writing, though it can be done very well. It's kind of obvious when you see a strongest character, they're going to get ridden out of the plot, or somebody's going to make sure they can't just solve everyone's issues in 5 minutes. But yeah, that's pretty much all I gotta say about the strongest. I know this video isn't as good as my other videos, or like really in-depth, but I just want to talk about this topic because I always found it very interesting. And I always like the concept of a character that explores the concept of it's lonely on the top. And I think it's a really interesting idea for a character, and I always like the characters that do this. And no, I am not referring to the broken isekai characters that can just fart and delete like 12 universes. I'm not talking about those guys because those guys kind of suck and they're not that interesting to talk about. So yeah, I'm not going to talk about them here. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say about this topic. It's nothing very too crazy or interesting, but I like the trope a lot and I love seeing it in media when it's done properly. So yeah, I really hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Please stay safe, and if you want to talk about anything or mention anything in the comments and you want to discuss anything, I'm always open to discussion in my comment section. So just type anything if you want. So yeah, thank you for watching, stay safe, and have a good night.